Hi, and I hope that you're having a great evening. I just like the juiciness of this one, so I just wanted to come on and update about my mental health situation and talk about something that happened to me. I don't know if I ever talked about this or if I was just saying it on my social media, but I'm sick.
They're coming for us. Oh, we're also talking about Martians that landed on Washington, D.C.
No, I'm not. Don't make light of this situation, Isaac.
I'm not. Martians did land on D.C.
He knows what happened. And
anyway, back to your story.
It's not really, it's more than just a story, people. It happened. Like, it's meaningful to me, and those are so annoying. I'm having a lolly because that's what I have to do when something's hard to talk about. I mean, it's not really hard, it's just really weird to accept, but it's the truth, so yeah, these are those Dr. John's lollipops. They are so good, especially the chocolate. Oh my gosh, I like totally ate all of them already. You should try them if you haven't yet. drjohns.com. Go there right now. But yeah, this is kind of about my situation. If you don't know, I more than likely have dissociative identity. And that means that when I'm out of consciousness and control in my body, other things come in. Other people, other aspects of myself, and they take over. And for a minute, they can act as me. They can be me, basically. And I have no recollection the next day. Yeah, people, that happens. Like, don't think that's just in the Twilight Zone, because it's not. Don't think it's just like those little made up, those movies and stuff in Hollywood, because it's not. It's not just like that either. It's like kind of scary, because it's more scary for the person experiencing it, I think, than other people around. You know, they'll think weird about you. My neighbors kind of do, I think. I think they kind of think I'm not, like, a freak. Because they probably are right, I am a freak. Like, but, yeah. For real, I do have dissociative identity. The person confirmed to me tonight my worst fear. I mean, I almost would have rather it been somebody putting things in my car, because I would have rather had that than knowing that I actually snuck out of the house. I snuck out of our place at night, in the middle of the night, or whenever I did. I don't even know. I didn't really get that in depth with the conversation, but he said that it was more than likely that I got the cookies from this female who was very nice older lady. She's our neighbor, one of our neighbors down the way, and she was having a Christmas gathering, a little Christmas dinner for all the people at this motel. You know, they're very hospitable type people, and her and this guy are very nice at being charitable to other people that live here, because they're the older people, so they kind of take it on themselves to be, you know, make sure everybody is treated decent, and, you know. And they invited us to that little dinner, a little meal that was happening all day. And I thought about it, you know, but I was like, I don't know, you know. And I was like nervous, because we don't really interact with anybody around here. You know, we usually don't. And we told them that we don't usually do a lot of interacting with people. Just our basic stuff, We'll say hi, we'll be cordial, but we just don't like get personalized. Because whenever I get personalized with anybody, it's like that's when our relationship gets fucked up. So I learned to keep it, especially around the people around me where I have to be with all the time. Yeah, I learned to keep it very simple, rudimentary. But I mean, I guess I must have gotten somewhat close to them because they treat me different now. And, he was like, well, I already know you. I don't know what they know about me. I don't know what all I said. It's kind of like when I was at the bar and I thought it was because of the booze. It wasn't. It literally, I think that might have been a catalyst that opened up my alters to come out. But it wasn't because of that I had that. I already had it. I just didn't know. And I think that was what started. Like, it didn't start me having this. So don't think that, people, because no. I already had developed dissociative identity when I was a child. You have to develop if you're ever going to have dissociative identity, it's something you get in your first, 5 or 6 years of life. Because children and they process information and think tragic events different than adults. And if you're a child and you're severely abused like I was, then you split. You will literally split all of your different personality, like all of your different events that happen to you, and you can split the feelings and emotions, you can split the events, the memories, everything that is from your childhood can be split into different parts of yourself. And that's why they're not accessible to you. So it's not anything that I can even do. Like, I can't go back in my mind and just pull it up at random like everybody else in the world can. Mine is processed different. And there's different alters inside of me that hold those different memories. So I could never, even when I tried to make myself remember different things, I couldn't. Because that's why. And it makes sense to me now that I realize that I have this. That's why I could never remember things. And I would try all my life, go from therapy to therapy and sit there, even hypnotherapy, and I'd try to have them make me remember the abuse and all that stuff. But my different alters were not ready to allow me to have that information yet. So it was like a no-win battle with me. And I think that's what I've always struggled with. I didn't realize I had dissociative identity, and I didn't realize it was this. I didn't know. It's a lot more simple now that I think about it. It's just a coping mechanism, and it's not like this big showy, flashy, thing that everybody makes it out to be. It's just a different way that you process things than other people. And I will always be that way. I will never not process my information a specific way that's different than everybody else, because once you have it, you can learn to cope with their alters and your system, and you can learn to balance and to communicate, but you will never be like everybody else that's whole. You will never be like that. And you'll be able to integrate, right? Yeah, you can integrate and start that journey, but you will always, even if down the road you have something else bad happen to you, then you will more than likely form new alters that you will then have to process over. So when people say, I've totally integrated and I'm whole again, no, probably not. You're probably always going to deal with that all of your life, and down the road you could find new alters. That's the thing with dissociative identity. You can form new alters in your adulthood if you've already had it in your childhood. But you can't ever get them in your adulthood if you've never experienced that in your childhood. So that's the thing with it, people. So, yeah. I could always, if I have some horrific event down the road, I will probably get more alters. And that's the thing, too. You never know how many alters you have, because some of them are very good at hiding. And some of them do not reveal themselves. They don't want to. That's their whole point, is to keep you from knowing things that could really hurt you, in your psyche. And I guess when I was little, I would always go up to complete strangers and ask for candy and you know, candy, gum, milkshakes, whatever I could, they had, or whatever they had on their plate. Probably even at restaurants, I'd go up and just like look at people and watch them eat their food. And then I'd be like looking at them like with that helpless little innocent look, like, I want some of your food. I learned to do that. And so it was just like a gimme, for me, because my mom made us go beg for food. We didn't have much money. So I had to beg. And I got really good at learning how to do it without doing it. You know what I mean? Like going up to somebody you don't even know as a little toddler and just getting them to feel sorry for you enough to give you something. Money, food.
A little toddler.
They would feel bad because you're like, you got this bloated gut. Like, it's so extended, and I was severely malnourished. I didn't have enough food, So they could see that, oh, come on, gosh. They could see that I was starving.
Yeah,
and
the system didn't care to do anything.
Yeah.
You'll be watched.
It took them like 4.5 years. Yeah. That's how long it takes people.
Lazy and they don't want to do anything. That's
but
why.
I mean, they could see that there was a lot of issues with the family. My mom would give us raw hot dogs and ketchup, or we go get ketchup packets at McDonald's, and that would be what we'd eat. Go to the soup pantries and soup kitchens and stuff, but she didn't like going there very often, so we didn't, unless we absolutely had to. We go to these one people's place named Casey's, and we'd go and they'd sometimes feel bad for us, so they'd give us food and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what we did. And so I learned that. I learned to approach strangers. And, when you're taught as a kid, most kids are taught, don't go to never talk to strangers, That whole book kind of freaks me out to this day because, I caught on that I was doing that, And as a kid, even when I came with my adopted family, I would sit there and my adopted mom would have to tell me like multiple times. I don't know how long it took them to get me not to go up to complete strangers and bum. Because that's what I did. And then I guess I put food in my pillow too at night. I must have snuck downstairs, and I'm thinking that's where it comes from. I understand that now that is more than likely my littler version of myself. And, coming out, seeing that I was offered something by somebody, and the whole day I had that odd thought in my head. Like, it just was like that relentless thoughts. I mean, sometimes you get those thoughts where you're like, it never leaves. And that was one of those. And I think it's because my alter was really trying to get me to go over there. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. We don't need food. And so I didn't. And that night, I guess she wanted to still. So she went over there. And I wasn't me, I wasn't my normal self, and I definitely would never go over to our neighbor's house and ask for food. So yeah. It is embarrassing to think like that, and the fact that they know I'm that way, like, it's really hard when, like, other people see what you've done or what you are, and you don't get to see it, Like, it's totally feels like somebody else takes your body and basically acts as you. And they are you, but yet it's so surreal. And I understood when I was drinking, okay? I got it that maybe it could be a part of that. And I was like, well, maybe it's just because of me drinking. And it happened again, and I hadn't drank in a single thing. So I can safely say it was not because of the booze. I think, that whole scenario with the Halloween thing kind of triggered and reactivated whatever was in me. And maybe I've done it other times and nobody's known. Maybe it's little simple things once in a while, or I'll get up and my alters will eat food in the place. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they take food out of the kitchen and they eat it, like when I was little. It's really
the neighbors we just dealt with.
But to really actually weird. Intermingle with some other people that can validate that I got. They gave me cookies and Christmas cookies and stuff. I'm like, how? How did you give us cookies? Like, we didn't ever ask for any. But, it's because I did. I did it, people. I feel like such a freak, I'm really scared because it goes beyond, like, anything I've ever known about myself, I didn't ever know that I did things. I didn't ever know I would get up at night. And all my life, mostly, I always had very deep sleep. And us having all this stress about me being stalked and everything really triggered my
past few years of situations that's made.
I think it's really like, it's stressing me out to the point that my alters are returning. And so it could very well be linked to everything that's been going on lately, and the fact that I am at times very over my limit with different things I've dealt with my family, different things I've dealt with the person that is stalking me, and, just a lot of harassment from different people over the certain years. It's really been hard, and I've had so much ups and downs that you have no idea. None, and it's been very trying. I've gotten to the point where I've at times been so freaked out about our different people that I would go and peer out the window every 2 seconds, and that really told me, something ain't right.
I thought I was a vigilant, paranoid type.
It got me to that point, to that level where I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who the freak was involved. All I knew was something wasn't right, and that something was going to happen even if we had good moments. We always knew that right down the corner something bad would happen, and it usually did. It wasn't just in my head. That's the freakiest part. Like, it's not just paranoia if it's real. And if there really are people doing you harm, that's not paranoia. So don't just let anybody ever say that to you. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're just being paranoid when, like, something bad is happening. And you don't have 100% proof every 2 seconds, but eventually the truth will show itself. And that's what I've come to realize. And that's really, I guess, the grunt of what goes on, and because of that, in my sleepless nights and freaking myself out, giving myself double periods sometimes, stressing to the level that I'm having breathing spasms in the middle of the night, waking up unable to, like, cope with that, and unable to sleep, insomnia, horrible insomnia, and headaches, throbbing freaking headaches, to the point where I'll go on meds, I'll take their antipsychotic and antidepressant pills. I've been hospitalized God knows how many times, of which multiple times there's been odd situations during the mental patient stays. Once I was actually harassed by one of the people. So yeah, you don't know who to trust. And I think that brings out other parts of me. And I think that's what reopened it. And the fact that I'm now living my truth. I'm going back to who I was, and maybe that's part of me that wanted to come back, And I feel bad that she's like her own identity now. I wish that she was a part of me. I wish she was like, just like me. And we didn't have to be apart like that. But it just feels like I'm, it never felt like I was whole. I never felt very like everybody else, My whole life, I always felt like I didn't have it, all my different parts of me. I didn't have access to who I was. And I felt so lost. And there's a reason why. You know, there's a reason that I felt so empty and alone, because I didn't even know that was part of me. It's like when I watch certain parts of my videos, it's like sometimes I see them. I see the other parts of me that I don't ever feel like I'm that person. And I'm like, wow, why did I say that? Why did I do that? You know, that's not me. And I see my pictures or I see my videos. It doesn't always feel like it's me, because maybe at that time it wasn't. And it was the other parts that I never knew I had, you know. For all my life, I didn't even know I had these parts of me. I felt like I had abandoned parts of me that were so precious. And I did. I had killed that girl off. But she was still there, you know? She was still inside of me. And I feel so special that I can find parts of me back. And it's like looking through, it's like watching a video of somebody else, because that's how like far apart you feel. And you don't feel connected to that at all. I don't feel connected to my little part of me. I don't feel like I even know who she is or her friends or anything about her, because I don't. I really, really freaking don't. And it scares me so much. And to know that she's still there and that she's still